So you have a great game idea. First thing you do, you start trying to make a prototype and finding a group to help you make it. Bzz, wrong. Not at all what you want to do. First, you really want to look at fleshing out your idea in a game design document. Welcome back, I'm Zach with Streamline Design, and today we're going to talk about one of the first steps in actually making your game. Some of you may have heard the term game design document before. And for those of you who haven't, in short, it's effectively a document that evolves with the game during production that describes the game and its parts so that everyone is on the same page. The game industry has moved far more agile lately, and this is in part why the game design document evolves with the project itself, instead of being fully written beforehand. In the description below, I'll include a helpful link as well as some examples of game design documents that you can look at to base yours off of. The game design document should start out simple, though the length of it will vary with the complexity of your game. You want to capture the core pieces in your first simple version of the game design document. At this point though, everyone should be working to make a simple game that is also engaging. This will prevent you from getting too caught up in complexities that you aren't ready to take on alone or in a group that is just going to take too much time and cause issues when you don't have the experience yet to do them. The game design document itself should start with a brief overview about the game. This will give anyone who reads it an idea of what the game is actually about. The kind of things that I like to see in this are what kind of game it is, what platform it's going to be on, what's the overarching story if there is one, a couple of the major plot points, and the setting. After the overview, there's a number of different sections that may be included, though are not absolutely required depending on what your game is about. These include story, characters, environments, levels, gameplay, art, sound, and interface/controls. And of course, each of these breaks out into more detail. For now, we really want to keep things simple, and I can't stress that enough. We want to get down enough information that each area can start working for the first prototype and know what direction that the entire project is going in. I personally like to start with creating a description of the main character. Who are they? Why are they doing what they're doing in the game? What are their motivations? What drives them? You can, of course, also include a description of what you envision the main character to look like. From there, I like to add in a gameplay subsection. Personally, I call this subsection a typical play session, but others call it varying different things. In this subsection, we describe how we believe a typical, or what we want a typical, play session to be. For instance, perhaps a typical play session for a game we're making is going to be the player logs in, runs around on an open world map, looking for treasure, and every now and then they get pulled into a battle with monsters. The reason I like to do this is because this very brief explanation can lead us to other areas that we need to describe more. Still, in the gameplay section, we want to ensure we know what running around on the map looks like. Is it top-down 2D? Is it third person? Is it over the shoulder? What are we looking here and expecting to be made? We also want to ensure that we know what combat is supposed to be like. Is it going to be turn-based? Is it action-oriented? What is that going to look like? What's the layout of the battle? All of that needs to be decided before we can really start making any of the prototypes. You also want to include what the environments look like. Is it going to be hilly, mountainous? Is it dark and scary? This is stuff that you can include in the environments section itself, and it's not so much going to be helpful for defining the prototypes early on, but it's going to give work to the art team to know what direction they're heading in so everything can mesh together nicely and look like it's meant to be there. The last thing you'll want to do is describe the controls. Is it going to be keyboard oriented or will you have a controller? This will allow for the early prototypes to still be working with the same controls that you expect to have later on, even though you will likely make them more advanced and redo some of the stuff. Having these things will give you and potentially your group a way of fleshing out good tasks to handle each week or each day as you're working on the project. This is great for how you manage your project, and we'll get into that more later, but this will definitely help keep you on track and build your first prototype as you advance through the stages. Of course, as you work, you also have to ensure you are updating the document with more and more detailed information about your game. You will be done when it fully and thoroughly describes the game that you are making, or have at the end made. I know this was a bit of a long video, and I hope you have stayed through to this point. If you have, I would love to know what got you into game development. What is it that drives you to make games? Leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to read it, and who knows, maybe others will enjoy it as well. As always, guys, it means a lot to me to have your support. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed it, leave me a thumbs up. It really helps me, and it helps other people find me. Hopefully that'll help them as well. If you want to see more, or if you are excited to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It'll let you know when I come out with new videos, which also helps me and helps you. But on that note, I will see you guys next time. Bye.